was directed by Peyton and it stars Paul Rudd, Michael Douglas, Michael Peña, Evangeline, Lilly, and Corey Stoll, among others. And ladies and gentlemen, we have an Ant-Man movie. We live in a world where an Ant-Man movie is real. I knew being a nerd would pay it off eventually. And welcome back to the last MCU review left in my GeeKlassic series. I intentionally left Ant-Man out in hopes to do it before Ant-Man and the Wasp, but fucking Europe decided to delay it over a month because of the fucking World Cup. We are finally here. It's time for Ant-Man and the Wasp in Europe, and I'm finally going to review the last movie left in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, Ant-Man. And Ant-Man tells the story of Scott Lang, a man with good intentions who just hopes to provide for his daughter, but he does this by stealing stuff until one day he gets caught and goes to jail. However, once he gets freed, he gets the attention of one Hank Pym, who now needs him to steal something from the wrong hands. And Ant-Man is a very out there character. However, the film is one of the funnest and funniest MCU entries, and we get the tone of this film right away in the first scene as far as the comedy is concerned, when Luis goes and gets Scott out of jail. Their interaction in the van is one of the most hilarious exchanges I remember seeing in any MCU film. And Paul Rudd just nails the character of Scott Lang. He's so good in this role, and he's very likable naturally as an actor, which also helps in portraying this father looking for redemption to take care of his daughter, which mirrors the father looking for redemption in the eyes of his daughter, that is Hank Pym, who is phenomenally portrayed by Michael Douglas. And he is fantastic because he's Michael Douglas, of course, but also because we see him as a hero who feels like he failed. He probably never failed besides that one time, which in his eyes, of course, was the most important time for him to succeed, because his wife was with him on a mission, and the one mission that he failed, he lost his wife. It cost him his wife, and it cost his daughter her mother. That gives weight to the arc of Hank Pym right there. What also helps this is the dynamic that Pym has with Hope, his daughter, which also mirrors the relationship that Scott has with his daughter. And the relationship that Hope creates with Scott is very unique, because I like seeing this dichotomy in where she is trying to help Scott getting along with his daughter, but what she's really doing is venting out her frustrations about her father. And while the presence of Rudd gives us the comedy, the presence of Douglas the drama, there is one clear standout in the laughs department, and that is Luis, portrayed by Michael Peña. Holy shit, is this guy funny as balls. He's funny because of how fast he talks, he's funny because of the stories he tells, he's funny because of how he tells these stories. And the character work, the detail in the character work of this guy is very unnoticed. Nobody mentions how all these elements that people like are an immeasurable character work in detail from beginning to end. I also love the brotherly love between Scott and Luis. The two just feel like they have this brother-like bond between the two, and it's really endearing throughout the film. In their missions, you see how much these two care for each other particularly. And the fight scenes in this film, love them to no end. I particularly like the one at the lab when Scott goes to rescue Hank, and it's the one taken out of Edgar Wright's test footage, but it's so incredible. Even the sequence where Scott goes to steal from the Avengers and runs into Falcon is really entertaining. It was a really nice segue to insert the Avengers into this film and to really address why they don't always show up. Hank Pym actually doesn't want their help, especially Stark's. And the shrinking sequences with Scott and the ants underground and growing back up and through the house are so entertaining and so visually photorealistic. The special effects are really well done and in a unique way, like most Marvel films. And I like that the film also understands that it should be small in the literal sense. We don't need world-threatening villains or world-threatening nuclear holocaust. We need small, local threats. Because of even the story we're trying to tell of fathers and daughters and redemption, we don't need stuff to go over the entire world. We just need these characters to be in the moment and to feel the stakes. And the characters feel them. It's personal for them, and that's why it works. And as I said, this film has good comedy and good drama, but when you have two very contrasting styles and genres, you're going to run into a bit of a portion of the film where the two clash. And that's at the very beginning. The first act of this film seems to juggle the two not so well. Eventually it finds a stride and it works really well for the film. In the beginning, however, we are seeing the scene with Louise and Scott leaving prison, but then immediately after that we go to Scott's daughter's birthday party, and it's just a super dramatic scene, very emotional that they're trying to portray, and it just doesn't gel very well. And speaking of Scott's daughter, she does feel a bit like more of a plot device than an actual character in this film. From the beginning, you know they are teasing the eventual third act battle, and it happens exactly as you would expect. And Corey Stoll as Yellow Jacket, though I understood his motivations and I liked his performance, his character from the very first scene does not ever seem like he had a good bone in his body. This guy just looks evil, acts evil, and again, despite understanding why he feels the way he feels towards Hank Pym and towards wanting the Ant-Man powers and the Pym particles, he does not ever seem like he wants to use them for good, so there's never a nuance or a, oh yeah, I'm on your side dude, part to the character. That doesn't make the third act battle any less cool. Oh my god, it's so fun. From the lab, to the helicopter, to the suitcase, to Scott's house in very different shapes and sizes literally. This is one of the most entertaining third act sequences in a Marvel film. I especially love the part with the Thomas the Tank Engine battle, which is so much fun till this day to rewatch. It's one of those portions of the film where you fully see how crazy creative they just went with it, because it's freaking Ant-Man. And in this third act battle, we finally get to see what has been teased throughout the film, the Quantum Realm. The Quantum Realm in this film looks really cool, and we don't spend a lot of time there. However, I'm hoping we do get to spend a bit more time there in Ant-Man and the Wasp, and the sequence was also made mostly to tease what would be the visual insanity that would be Doctor Strange. And if you watch my Doctor Strange review, and if you watch Doctor Strange the movie, it works. I like that the Quantum Realm also sent fans crazy about analyzing what they could hear and see while Scott was there, and at the end of the day, it really was nothing. There was nothing to see, nothing to hear, but it was fun to see people go crazy about it. Ant-Man takes a standard idea and adds a new spin to it. It's not an action or heist classic, but one with a big element of cool in it. There are some issues in the structure and underserved characters which take the movie down quite a little bit for me, especially Evangeline Lilly. She's cool in training Scott, she has a small arc because Hank Pym has an arc. I was disappointed with her use in this film, but I'm glad she's smack dab in the title of the sequel, and I'm going to give Ant-Man a martini. It is a good time, anytime. Now, what did you think of Ant-Man, my beautiful geekies? Did you enjoy it? Did you not? Is it in your top 10 MCU movies? Let me know your ranking of the MCU movies before Ant-Man and the Wasp, and we'll talk about that one this coming Thursday when I review it for you. Thank you so much for watching. You guys are the best. I'm finally getting to see this film, and I can't wait to share my thoughts with you on it. So until then, you stay beautiful, you stay geeky, and if you haven't done so yet, click the subscribe button and the bell so we can be geeky united!